Evening, everybody. It's 5:45 on this Tuesday afternoon, about to get a thunderstorm, and this is your closing comment, video number 1789 for this Tuesday afternoon. Okay, market was pretty interesting today. It really couldn't make up its mind to go in one direction or the other, but clearly, um, this Tinkerbell market really wants you to believe. Um, they keep on citing things like the home builders. The home builders is interesting because it's really a supply demand issue of actual homes for sale. So the fact that they're not building spec houses and trying to sell them, the matter is, there's not a lot of land left unless you want to go to that 4 hours looking out of the airplane going east to west or west to east and seeing all those square states where nobody really wants to live. I only mention this because this is what happens at turning points in the market. Now, I'm not saying this is a long term bear market. Um, but it's also not evolving into a longer term bull market. Um, again, they want you to believe, but valuations speak volumes, and eventually it comes back into line. Today, the big mover, and it was really impressive, was the Russell. While the Dow finished on the positive side by $10 after being down 163. Um, that's 3 basis points, not 3/10 of a point, 303. The NASDAQ, which was down 65, closed up 46. Still not an overwhelming day, 0.36%. Um, the S&P, which was down about $12 at the low and closed up 1066, is a quarter of a percent. But the Russell, as I said, up 48.69, 2.69%. Transports were up about half of a percent. The VIX, on the other hand, closed below 14, down another 77 cents. Um, that's a move of about 30% since last Monday. So 4 trading days. Um, the big push today was basically Merck, Boeing, and UNH on the downside, American Express, and Caterpillar on the upside in the Dow. Merck is suing the government, the Biden administration, saying that they're pushing them to negotiate prices on drugs that are not off patent yet is unconstitutional. I'm sure that they'll have some company, being the litigious society that we are. So Merck was down 3%. UNH was down about 2.1%. But you have to remember, UNH is a big piece on the Dow because of its price. Um, on the upside, we had American Express up 3%. We had Caterpillar up 2.5%. So, we're seeing it. As far as the rest of the market, on the downside, not by much, but on the downside, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Meta. On the upside, Google, Tesla, and Amazon. Interesting. The Boeing was interesting in both directions because they have another non conforming part going into the 787s. The stock, when they mentioned that, the stock immediately turned to the downside. It got down 9 and finished actually. Let me just check that because it's still trading, so I want to give you an accurate number. It was down 9 to um, 200 spot 61. The last is 207.20. That's down $1.58 or just 0.75%. So that's pretty decent. I mean, you're talking about $7.50 off the low on a high price stock that, is levered for the Dow. After the close, we had Stitch Fix um, with a beat top and bottom line. Now, the thing is with Stitch Fix is that beat was a smaller than expected loss. When money didn't cost anything, this stock was 114, and people didn't want to be bothered to go and try on clothes, and they get them delivered to them and they could send them right back. The bottom line is guidance was poor. So the stock, which has gone from 114 to $2.63 on the low, today is $3.82, and that's up 39 cents, which is 11.2%. One more, RNAZ. This is Transcode Biotech. This is a company that also was 140 only about a year and a half ago. They just did, this is interesting, they just did a reverse split on the stock, I think the day before yesterday, a 1 for 20, which is why it looks like 140 was the high. That's actually, you'd have to divide that by 20. But you'd also be dealing with literally a stock under 20 cents. They reported results on glioblastoma, which was something that somebody else did just yesterday or the day before that I mentioned to you. The stock, which closed at 321, then ran all the way up to $9.89, at which point they announced they were going to issue shares. It's not a big deal. It's not unexpected, but it certainly took the bloom off the rose because the stock came all the way back down. Last is $4.23. So kind of interesting. Tomorrow we have mortgage apps at 7 o'clock. At 8:30 we have trade balance. Consensus is um, minus 75.3 billion versus last month's minus 64.2 billion. At 10:30 we have crude inventories, and at 3 o'clock the one I'm interested in is consumer credit, um, which last month was 26.5 billion, and the expectation here is to 21.2 billion. Most of the bank CEOs have been talking about it, and several analysts in the banking area keep on talking about the fact that there's more credit, mostly with people who can't afford it. The rates are dramatically higher. And when I say higher, I mean I'm talking about 28, 29%. So I think somebody mentioned the other night that if you financed something and you only made the minimum payments, I think the number was $3,500. If you borrowed $3,500 on your credit card and you only made the minimum payments, it would take you 17 years to pay it off, and you would have paid $8,400 in interest on 3,500. So, I'm all for Tinkerbell, but I just don't believe it's off to the races again. Hey, I've been wrong before. Um, Oil down 41 cents. Gold up $7.50. Bitcoin, the chart on the screen. Now that the SEC has sued both Binance and now, remember a couple of months ago I told you about the Wells letter that Coinbase got. They're mentioned again today. Same charges, little different charges than with Binance. Um, this is unregistered securities as opposed to Binance unregistered securities plus commingling and misusing customer funds. But um, the actual Bitcoin is acting a little bit better. Yesterday it was down 1700 and change. Let me just check. Yesterday it was down 1745, made a slightly lower low today, and then turned up and closed up 1625. So it got, all but 120 of it back. But it was a lower high and a lower low. The other position I want to mention is the wheat, which took off like a shot in the middle of the night, and I finally found out what that was about, although there is a crop report on Friday. This one made the bottom. We bought the calls right around here as it went from a new low back to up on the day, and we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 days of higher highs, higher lows. Although today we closed much closer to the low, but still up 3 3/4 cents. This one was pushed higher. It was up about 30, I think, at the high. Let's see, closed yesterday 624. Today's high was 648. So it was up 24 at the high. This was caused by, or it seems to be caused by, the bombing of the dam in Ukraine by the Russians, or so it is believed, that broke this dam and sent water just inundating wheat and cornfields. Corn actually finished up higher than that on the day, higher change. And so, we'll see how it shakes out. All right, everyone. I'll be back first thing in the morning. Hope you had a good day.